Hey everybody, it's been a long time, right? Several months, I don't know, maybe half of a year, I don't really know anymore. It's been a long time since I've done my podcast and been a long time since I've seen you guys on a video or anything like that. But, I had an experience last week and I wasn't sure or not if I wanted to share it. And the reason why I wasn't sure if I wanted to share it was because I don't know it was if I once I share this experience, I don't want to attract a certain crowd. I'm a teacher of consciousness, as you know. I love doing my videos and everything, but I know once I say this, I know I'll attract certain people, and they won't listen to what I really care about. But for some reason, there's something inside me that is telling me to tell you guys and share it with you. So I'm going to share it with you. So last Tuesday night, I was having a very big sleepless night, and I have sleepless nights a lot, but this one seemed to be different. I had all this energy and I couldn't go to sleep, and I was like, oh man, here's another night. I can't sleep. So I went from my bedroom out to my couch, and it was probably about maybe 7 o'clock in the morning when I first started sitting out there. And I was sitting up trying to fall asleep. I was wearing my eye mask and I just couldn't fall asleep. I heard Caleb leave for work and everything, and I was like, all right, I gotta get some sleep. It's almost 8 o'clock. It's after 8 now, and I have to get some sleep. So I decided to grab my cell phone and put on a little video from YouTube, and it was about a 25-minute video. And I put down my mask, and as I laid back, all of a sudden I felt this energy, and I felt this energy grab me, and something came from behind. And the next thing I know, in my mind, it was like I was locked into my mind, and then I was teleported to someplace. And when I looked around, I was on this table. And the first thing I was able to see was I was able to see a gray standing by where I was laying on the table flat, and there was a gray standing on my right side near my foot. And then all of a sudden I looked to the left a little bit, and then there was an Anunnaki standing there at the foot of my bed, just sitting there observing me. And I was like thinking, I was like, what's going on? I was like, because I was like, I was just at my house just a second ago, and I started feeling down, and I could feel my couch. I was listening, and I could hear the video that I was playing on YouTube word for word, and my dog went running down into the corner. And I was like, okay, I can feel my couch, but I knew like my physical body was sitting in the sofa couch, like where I was at, because I could hear everything. And then I was also someplace else at the same time. And I noticed I couldn't move my body. I was like kind of frozen, like I was stuck. And I noticed I moved my eyes, and because I could feel someone standing there. And when I was able to turn what little bit I could, I noticed that there was this big, tall, slender, light blue being that was standing at my head towards like my shoulder area. And I was sitting there, and I was like, and I could see that this being was tall, and I could just see the slenderness, but it was hard to fully make out the body because it kind of had like this glow to it, like this light blue glow. And anyways, I was sitting there, and I noticed, like I said, I couldn't move, and all of a sudden I felt something going on with my head, and then all of a sudden I felt like this detachment, and I don't know how I could see it, but I could see everything that was going on out around me. Like I could see the gray, I could see the Anunnaki, and I could see this light blue being. And I knew I was still sitting in my couch over here because I could feel everything. I could still hear the video and going on word for word. I could still hear the dog. And then all of a sudden, it was like a third part of me saw like the outside. It was like a 3-part series that I could see all 3 things at one time. And the light blue being put this. It was similar in color. It was like a light whitish blue beam into my head, and I could feel it because it was cold. I remember like looking at it and like, what's he doing, or what's this being doing to my body? Because again, I could tell that there was no gender, and it was like, and I could feel this beam doing something inside my head, and I could feel the coldness of it all the while. I'm like, all right, I was like, am I dreaming? Am I like, am I having one of those, where I'm sleeping, but I'm kind of awake, like my body's awake, but I'm sleeping, and so I kept trying to force myself to get up. And of course, I kind of panicked at times, because I when I go into that, where your brain is up and your body is sleeping and you're trying to wake yourself up, I'm claustrophobic, so I panic. And I was panicking a little bit, and the being that was light blue put its hand on my chest and looked at me and said, "Relax." And in that moment, like, I could feel myself relaxing. Like I wasn't afraid of these beings. The panic was more from, I would say, like, just being trapped, like not being able to move. I hate that feeling. I really do. And anytime I have sleep paralysis or anything like that, I literally hate this. And I was questioning it, because I was like, okay, if this is, I've had sleep paralysis before, but I've never had sleep paralysis like this. Like before, it's usually like when I've had the sleep paralysis, I feel like I'm aware of my surroundings, but it's usually like I can see my surroundings, but I can't move my body. There's no beings, there's no interactions, there's no 3-part series where I can feel the couch, hear the YouTube, feel and smell everything where I'm at, and then all of a sudden, like and have instructions. I've never had that happen all in my life, of all the times I've had sleep paralysis. So I was questioning it, and when the being gave me instructions, I knew like it was real. And then the next thing I know is, after the blue beam stopped in my head, they put something in my throat. And I could feel it, because the light blue being had really long fingers. They were really elongated, and it started going down my throat, looking at something. And I don't know what they were doing, but again, I went into panic, not because I was afraid of them, but because I'm trapped. I can't move. You're putting something in my throat. I have a terrible gag reflex, and now your fingers are in my mouth and in my throat and doing something, and I couldn't figure out what. So I started to panic a little bit. And then all of a sudden, I started trying to get up again. I'm like, all right, I got to be dreaming. This has to be a dream. Come on, Raina, wake up. And the blue being again put its hand on my chest and looked at me and said, "Relax." And again, I relaxed again. I was like, all right, and I'll just let through. They started working on my abdomen and my solar plexus and my sacral chakras. And then at the end, it was like the blue being, the gray and the Anunnaki just stood there observing. And I don't know what they were doing, but I could just tell that they were like just standing there, not doing much. And then after the end, when the blue being did something to my head and went down to my groin area and took its finger and just tapped it like down there, just really fast, and I felt this energy just go just right through me. And I was like, oh geez, I was like, it was so intense. And then I was like, all right, Raina, I was like, I gotta get up. I was like, I'm too trapped. I was like, I can't do this. And I felt the energy of whatever was holding me down and whatever they were doing just release. And I was like, Raina, wake up. And I snapped out, and it was just, and I knew I wasn't sleeping, because it wasn't like I woke up. As soon as the energy released, I grabbed my eye mask and I took it off, and I was still up. The funny thing about this is, I looked at the clock on my phone, and it was over an hour and 15 minutes later. However, the YouTube video, which was only 25 minutes long, and YouTube, I don't have it on repeat, I don't have it on continuous play, I don't have it on any of that. Once the video ends, it's over, and I don't have any ads or anything like that interrupting. It was only halfway through. It was at like 12 minutes and 30 something seconds. So it was only halfway through the video. So I kind of looked, I was like, wait, that's weird. It was just around 8:30 when all this started happening. Now it's like 9:45, 9:50. And the video was only halfway through, and it didn't make sense at all, because it was on the video that I originally selected. And again, it was only 25 minutes. So it took a while for me to kind of grasp. I reached out to Caleb. I was like, oh my God, like, I was like, I just been upgraded. I was like, and that's what it was. It was a 5D conscious upgrade through my body that and I kind of, as the week went on, I couldn't figure out the being, but as the week went on, my intuition was just like, it's an Arcturian. And I could understand what they were doing, and I could feel the upgrade because I'm going to tell you something. You guys know I've been sick for a long time. For over 5 years, I've been going through this transformation, this 5D transformation, and it's been hell on my body. And even up until recently, I've been having headaches, dizziness. They thought I had a TIA a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, and it's just been, again, it's just been crazy. Since this upgrade, since what they've done, I felt better. I'm not 100%, but I felt better. I don't have this feeling of impending doom anymore. My heart rate's back down to normal. My digestion is a lot better, but it still has some, a little bit, but it's nothing like it was before. And overall, I just have this intense feeling of just like, okay, like I can go do stuff again. Today I drove my car out. Like normally I don't drive without Caleb because of all the stuff that's been going on. I just don't trust myself with driving because, you know, every time I drove myself, I would have some sort of episode and I couldn't get back to the house. So I always had Caleb drive me. And there's just this different sense inside me, like even though I still have some to go with the transformation and the illness, I feel like it took a massive turn and like I'm almost out of the woods. Before it was like running in endless woods, like trying to figure out, okay, is this ever going to get better no matter what I do? And now it's like this sense of strength and this sense of almost completion. And it's an amazing feeling because for the first time in over 5 years, I feel like I can do stuff again. And the more important thing is that I want to do stuff. And it was such an amazing experience that I'm truly grateful for. Again, I obviously, if you guys know my history, not just in this lifetime, but in many lifetimes and throughout, because they're all continuous anyways, and we're all spread out. But I'm not afraid of other beings from other planets or anything. My history is back with the Sirius star system, so of course it kind of had a familiarity towards it. But in this lifetime alone, I never really had that experience or that connection to them in that sense. And I thought that it would be kind of cool to share with you guys. I don't know if you guys have had a similar experience or not. If so, I honestly would love to hear your guys' experience, a truthful experience, of course. But again, I was hesitant to share this story only because I know that, you know, there's a lot of people that like, you know, alien stories and these type of stories, and I have no issue with that, but I just don't want to I don't want people coming to me just for that experience or that. And that's one of the reasons why throughout my teachings I really don't talk about any, you know, the Galactic Federation or my time on Sirius or anything like that, because I just feel that consciousness and teaching consciousness to the planet, or help in consciousness to the planet evolve through humanity right now, is more important than cool alien stories. But for some reason, my intuition tells me that I should share this with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. I really hope to see you guys soon. Honestly, I'm feeling better, a lot better. Like, it's instant. And I will tell you this, with my throat, I had a very scratchy throat. For like several days beforehand, and after that experience my throat pain was gone, and so it was just instantly gone. So like within however long it happened, whatever they were doing to my throat, it fixed it, and it hasn't hurt since. It used to feel like razor blades, or someone took their nails and scratched inside my throat, and it hurt really bad. And when I got out of whatever they were doing, it was gone. So, but anyways, guys, again, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys soon.